All right. Welcome to another edition of Hanging Out with Nolan Hong. And I am so excited that we got this podcast going. It's been so fun. It's exceeded my expectations, I'll tell you what. Joining me, as always, here in the studio as we broadcast from the Pop Creative Media offices here in Honolulu, Hawaii, is our business dog, Dr. Emmett Bean, who's keeping it funky and chewing on his chew toy, smelling up the place. And my super producer extraordinaire, Miss Jamie, who it is her birthday today, so happy birthday. She is not only my partner in business, but my partner in life, and she is the reason why this is all happening, and couldn't thank you enough, so happy birthday. We have a fantastic guest for today's podcast. I mean, this is when we first thought about the podcast, his name was one of the first names that popped up into my head because I said, oh, guarantee there are stories to be told. And he is a dear friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. He is what you would be considered the godfather, the founding father of local MMA here in Hawaii. He is TJay Thompson. We all know him from promoting SuperBrawl, Icon MMA, and all that. But he's also got this interesting life now after fighting, where he is actually a professional stuntman. And you see him on big productions like Hawaii Five-0, Kong, Jurassic Park, all that kind of stuff. So needless to say, we got a ton to talk about. And I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to cover it all in one episode. So this is probably going to be part one of many. But I'm excited to talk with my friend, TJay Thompson. Here he is. TJay, I mean, my gosh, I thought about it, and we've known each other for almost 15 years now.
Where did we meet?
So we met through, of course, the MMA world. That's what most people recognize
through
it
Vince?
from. I don't even know if it's through Vince, because I had started Fighters Corner with Mark, and you were deep in the MMA promotion game, and I think it was just a matter of we reached out to you.
Right when that was getting started.
Yeah, well, you're already well into it,
right?
And we'll get into that too, but the interesting thing is I wanted to bring you on because we know that you have such a storied history with MMA, but my gosh, you have crazy stories from what I've heard from you and from other people too. Like you have a life that people could like write a book about. And so right now I wanted to, you just showed me your highlight reel.
Yeah.
So currently, some people don't know this, but you are a professional stuntman, which blows my mind when I heard that you're doing it. And now knowing what you do and seeing what you do, it blows my mind even more. But how did you get into this? Because you just mentioned you're the 40.
I broke in at 45. I'm 50 years old now. I'll be 51 in August.
God.
So as far as I know, and we've been asking around, I'm probably the oldest person ever to break into the business and be successful at it. And I'm comfortable saying that I'm pretty good at it. I mean, there are young kids that are doing some crazy stuff and more athletic, but I hold my own for an old man out there falling down and driving and doing all kinds of really fun stuff. So yeah, I got into it by mistake. Like pretty much anything that's good that's happened in my life was a mistake. So I had finished with SuperBrawl Icon Sport, and we'll go back and talk about some great MMA stories.
Yeah.
But you know, I sold in 2007. I sold my company to a public company, Pro Elite, which produced Elite XC, Gina Carano, Kimbo Slice, all those type of things. And most people know that I sold it for a lot of money. I sold it for a little money and a lot of stock, like retirement money stock. A year in, the company went belly up, and I literally ended up almost destitute. And most people don't know that they, you know, you're that successful MMA guy, right. And I was for, 15, 20 years, and ran into some really hard times, and was just finding ways to get by, and some hustles. Pro Elite tried making another go, and I worked for them for, I think, 6 months, 9 months when it crashed again, and then tried one more time with Rich Chow. So I was just kind of finding things to do. At the time, I knew the casting, the head of casting for Hawaii Five-0. So I had done a couple extra parts, more for fun. We'd make $100 for a day, and just being around it was fun.
And was this the first season?
This would have been probably season 1 and 2. Maybe I just worked a couple different days and certainly wasn't taking it seriously. I didn't really want to be an actor, or just something to do. And you lived in Hawaii and it was kind of fun. But at one point, Pro Elite tried picking up again, and we were putting on shows as Pro Elite. At that time, Hawaii Five-0 in season 2 did an MMA episode.
Yeah.
And I ended up tech advising for them, and we did a Pro Elite cage for the show. And I got to know everyone, and Chuck Liddell came in, and I worked with the stunt coordinator now, who's a dear friend, Jeff Cadiente, for 4 or 5 days, and basically just got to know everyone, Rich Chow and I. And then this was getting ready for, this would have been 6 months later. The company had gone under again. I'm upside down again. I went in, Rachel Sutton from casting called and said, hey, I have something maybe I'll get you a line. It's a cop that says freeze, and then you die. Like, I can probably do that.
Yeah.
So I walk in to read for that, and I see Jeff Cadiente. And he goes, hey, how you doing? What's happening? And we talk for a little bit. And he says, hey, is this your fight this weekend? And there was a King of the Cage fight. He said, no, but if you want to go, I'm sure I can get you tickets. He goes, nah, I need a bunch. I said, well, hang on a second. Let me see what I can do for you. And I got a good phone call and got him some great seats. And he goes, so what are you doing here? I said, I'm going to go, read for this extra. I'm going to go be this featured extra. And he goes, you don't want to do that. What do you mean I don't want to do that? He goes, what are you doing Monday? I go, I don't have any plans.
Yeah,
basically,
right.
Almost homeless. Yeah, what do you want me to do? And he goes, can you drive? I said, can I drive? So he hired me as a favor, almost as a joke, or just as a nice thing to do, to work as an ND driver, which is a nondescript, which basically means that I'm in a little rent-a-car driving 20 miles an hour in formation, and the real stunt drivers are driving around me.
Okay.
So this literally, from the time I was 8 or 9 years old till I was probably 14 or 15, my dream was to be a Hollywood stuntman.
Really?
Now, I lived in Western Massachusetts in the country, and it was one of the stupidest dreams you could ever have. So sometime when I got smart enough at 14 or 15, I'm like, well, that was a really dumb dream to have. But I used to jump off my roof into the snow and drive my car crazy. My dream was, so this was my dream day of work.
Yeah.
And had no intention of being in stunts. Mm-hmm. I knew what my job was. I knew I wasn't talented, or he didn't know I was talented. So you go 20 miles an hour. When I say stop, you stop.
Yeah.
When I say go, you go. So that day, I got to work with now a good friend, Corey Eubanks, who was, at 17 years old, started driving for Dukes of Hazzard and had jumped the General Lee over 200 times.
Wow.
Right? So this is who I'm working with.
Yeah,
and he's doing some unbelievable stunts. There's a bus coming down Bishop Avenue, and he's got to do a 180 around it and go backwards and just like crazy, crazy stuff. And I'm there, having the time of my life, literally texting Jeff. I've got the walkie-talkie that I'm working, then texting him going, just thank you so much. This is like the greatest day of my life. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we shoot this whole scene downtown, and we break for lunch, and that's the end for me. Uh-huh. And we have this great lunch, and you know how catering is on 5-0. I'm like, the day's still great. And Jeff goes, well, we're doing this one more thing down at Aloha Tower. There's a bank heist. And if you want to go jump out of the way of the bank robbers coming out, you can. I'm like, yes, I can. Absolutely. So we show up. And at the time, Rose had come to pick me up and the twins, and they were waiting for me. I'm like, well, come on, let's just stay a little bit. I get to go do this thing. And probably did, 7 or 8 or 9 takes of getting pushed out of the way, falling down. And I walk by and I finish up. He goes, TJ, that was actually pretty good what you did there. Would you ever be interested in, working anymore? And he was thinking that I'm this successful fight promoter, would never really. I'm like, yeah. when do you want me to start?
Yeah.
I'm in. So that's truly how I started. That was episode 1, season 3. I've done 60 plus episodes since then. I've worked between 12 and 18 episodes a season. And it's a full, it's the beauty of it is it's full-time pay. The pay's fantastic. And I probably average 3 or 4 days of work a month. So
that's it. Wow.
Yeah.
I would have assumed that you're on set all the time.
No. So the beauty is I get to do all these incredibly fun things.
Yeah.
And then I get to take my kids to school, to practices,
nice.
I'm at every teacher conference meeting. I get to drop my wife off at work, pick her up after work. So it's the life I lead is the most ridiculously good life you could ever have.
That's amazing.
And it's all thanks to Jeff Cadiente saying, hey, you want to come drive one day? And I sort of fell into it. And I've become a pretty competent stuntman. And like I said, there are younger, more athletic, more talented stuntmen, many of them. But I'm good at I'm a good driver. I'm getting more shots at driving. You saw on the reel some of the stuff I've been doing. The joke is I'm tougher than I am talented. So I can take a beating. And if I don't know, some people listening may know me and remember when I fought or trained to fight. It was kind of my fighting style, just sort of come forward, get punched in the face, and sort of wear you out and don't complain.
Right,
That, people ask me what it takes. I said, you need to show up. You need to get along with everyone. It's important. Interpersonal relationships are really important. So I get along with my boss. I get along with the director. I stay out of the way. I don't ask stupid questions. And I'm coachable. Somebody tells you what to do, I do it. And I've been pretty successful to this point. So
that's interesting because, coming from being a promoter, you're the one in charge giving out orders.
Very different.
It's interesting that you've turned this around and now you're being the coach, the one, and taking orders from others. I've
had discussions with that with my wife Rose as well. It's very much, it's yes sir, no sir. I'm as cool as it is being a stuntman. We're pretty much on the bottom of the barrel on set. We're expected to wait around, let the actors do, the stars do whatever they do, and then jump in, and they don't really care a whole lot for us and expect us to do really good work. So as much as I wasn't used to that from my entrepreneurial career, I had a really pain in the ass dad growing up that I felt like I was walking on eggshells all the time. And we could get into like a full therapy session on on why that is and who I am today.
That'll be episode 2.
But that's I now can bow down to someone, or I have no problems. I've never had an ego. It's probably the most ridiculous thing anyone's ever heard. A really big ego. But I've always been comfortable in the right circumstances of not taking the lead.
Interesting.
And I still get to be on TV and say I'm a stuntman. And that's, I showed you my reel because we're getting ready to do this. But it excites me. Like anyone that'll watch it, I'll show it to them.
Yeah.
Look what I'm doing, man. This is awesome. So that's the story of how I broke into the business.
And how does it work? Because from what I understand, people who are professional stuntmen and women, they go to like years of school and training. It sounds like you just kind of learned on the job. Did you have to go train and stuff like that too?
No, I definitely cut in line. There are a lot of people. Hawaii Five-0 is maybe one of the best 10 shows in history to get residuals from, because it's on around the world. So if for those that don't know, I get paid a certain amount for the day's work, and then a certain amount in adjustment for a stunt that you'll do. And then the next time that airs, I'll get paid that same amount again. And then when it airs in France, I'll get a certain amount of money. And then when it airs in Germany, I'll get a certain amount of money. And Hawaii Five-0 is on in, 100 plus countries right now. And every time it airs on TNT, I'm getting paid. Every time you watch it on Hawaiian Airlines, I'm going to get a couple cents when you watch it. So keep watching. Even if you don't watch it, just let it run when you're on the airplane. That's what I do. I'll watch my phone, but I'll make sure Hawaii Five-0 is running. Maybe a half a penny or something, but I'm going to get every bit I can. So that's basically how the financial part of it works. So Hawaii Five-0, there are stuntmen in LA that are dying to get on a show like Hawaii Five-0.
Yeah.
Stuntmen that have worked in big movies and television shows that are begging for a day, and they'll come out and get a day and be so thankful to be out here working for a day. And I'm there on a regular basis. So a lot of it is luck. But I was prepared. I had done some gymnastics training. I had done some fight training. I have a good body awareness. I'm not a great, now interestingly enough, or probably obviously, I'm not a great fighter. I'm not a great real fighter, but I'm a much better real fighter than I am a Hollywood fighter. It's completely different. Everything I've learned for Muay Thai kickboxing or grappling or wrestling is really tight and effective in the real world situation, and it doesn't look good on camera at all.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of habits from 20 years of training that don't help. So I don't get asked to do a lot of like flying, spinning, back kick things. I mean, I can take a punch, take a reaction. I just did a fight scene. Kono, Grace Park got to beat me up recently, which was fun.
Yeah, I saw in your reel you took a nice kick there.
A kick in the nuts
to the
well.
nether regions.
But that's a good Hollywood stunt trick. There's actually it's kind of like a wrap that comes up under your feet and around, so you don't actually get hit at all.
Oh, so it's not, I assumed that you were wearing a cup.
No,
but wow.
So I was going to wear it. That's what I said. I'll take it. Yeah. And again, that's my attitude. Like, you're going to pay me this much money? Go ahead. Yeah. But they had something that we were able to build. And the Alina, the stunt actress, the double for Grace Park that day, came out. And she had never done a groin kick, apparently. And Jeff Cadiente said, okay, just the most important thing is you're going to go hard. You got to make it look real. But point your toes, because I've got this strap. It's the strap that goes around. Point your toes. Well, she assumed pointing your toes wasn't extending them, but bending them up.
Right, that's what I'm thinking in my head here.
Her very first one came up and under the gooch, and I went down. So that was pretty painful. Then we figured that one out. Everyone got a good laugh out of that.
Everyone but you.
It actually got Snapchatted by like the crew were Snapchatting it everywhere. Yeah, it was a good day.
Well, the pain you felt from that probably is nowhere close to the pain you'd get from seeing your taxes and the money they take out of that.
Exactly.
Right there.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, the story I heard about how you got into the stunt business was that they had just asked you, and maybe this might be loosely true in a different scenario, but that you were on set already, and somebody had just asked you about doing stunts, and you're like, oh, yeah, I've done them before kind of thing.
No.
And then the next thing you know, you're jumping out of or into a helicopter.
No. That happened early on. But there are stories. That's the worst thing you could do.
Okay.
And you will never, ever work again. Honesty is an incredible thing. So here's, if you want to ask how do I break into the stunt business, be honest and undersell yourself. Because the last thing you want to do is promise the world and not deliver the world. So anytime I get asked to do something, I think I'm pretty sure I'm capable of that, boss. Like I'll work hard. I think I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm never saying, oh, I'm the best at that. I'll hit that every time, because then you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
So they don't want that. So, but the helicopter story may have been the third day I worked. So there's a small lie involved in this, but I'll preface. I'll talk about why I had to do that. So I've worked 2 or 3 days, I think, on Hawaii Five-0. So just I wouldn't call myself a stuntman until probably 2 or 3 seasons in, when I'd done enough stuff and felt like I sort of paid my dues. So at this point, I'm just some guy getting work.
Yeah.
And I'm fortunate enough to have some people around me. Danny Kim's a very good friend that doubles for Daniel Day Kim. And Brock Little, who passed away recently, was also someone that these are 2 guys that mentored me early on. And I think Danny Kim in some ways still mentors me when you talk about the stunt world. But I get a call. I'd worked 2 or 3 days. I got a call from Jeff Cadiente, the stunt coordinator. And he calls up, he says, hey, how are you around helicopters? And I say, great. I don't know what the hell that means. I took a tour on a helicopter in Kauai once, paid the $200. And he goes, okay, great. Do you have a harness? And here's the lie. I went, yes. He goes, okay, I need you here Tuesday. You're going to be doing a helicopter gag. I've got you climbing in, and we'll have you harnessed up. And thanks, great. I get off the phone. I immediately call Danny Kim. I go, what the F is a harness? And where do I get one? So in the end, I show up to work that day with my brand new harness that I bought at the climbing store and they said, Jeff comes up to me and says, the director they don't want to CGI out any clips or anything. So you're going to can you do it without the harness? And I still have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, I mean, if you think I can, and again, a stunt coordinator, and there's a reason they're there, are there to protect your life. And Jeff Cadiente, I literally trust him with my life. And he says, we'll get you through it. And he says Noah's going to be the Noah Johnson, the big wave surfer, won the Eddie Aikau. He doubles for Dano.
Okay,
He's Dano double. So he's going to be in the helicopter. You're doubling an actor. So what happens is Wofat is chasing me. I'm doubling an actor. And he shoots me in the shoulder, and we're running away, and I come to the end of a cliff, and I'm dead. Like, you have to jump off a 500-foot cliff and die, or he's going to shoot me.
Right.
And at that moment, Blue Thunder style, McGarrett and Dano come up with the chopper, and Dano reaches out, and I reach up and grab Dano's hand. He pulls me into the chopper, and we bank away down under.
Yeah.
And so he explains that all to me, and Noah's there in the morning. We're having breakfast, and he says, here's how you're going to grab arms. You will clasp like this. You'll be fine. We're going to cheat it. Probably 8 feet onto the cliff, so I'm not really on the edge of the cliff, but there's still a 200-foot cliff there.
Yeah.
But they can cheat it so it looks like. So if I were to climb up and fall right away, I'd land on the ground. But if I were to fall a little later, it'd be all over.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I handle pressure really well. Like, as long as I have something to focus on, I don't have a whole lot of fear. I think I have a healthy amount of anxiety of what's going to happen. But so this day, we do that thing at breakfast, and I'm kind of waiting for rehearsal. He goes, okay, here we go. Noah, get to the chopper. And I don't even see the chopper yet. They go, okay, we're going to go. Let's go. And we drive up to the top of the cliff, and they come down the very first shot. He comes out, and he's leading out, and he's all strapped in, because he can be, because that's what it'd do if he was in there for real. So everyone's strapped in except for me. And everyone's got headsets on except for me, so I can't hear because the choppers, all
loud,
this stuff's come out. So Noah reaches out, grabs me perfect. Everything works good. I hit the footstep that I need to hit, because if I miss it, that's what all I was focused on is one good step and get in.
Yeah.
And I get in, and I'm so happy that I made it, and I'm in the back of the helicopter, and everyone else has headphones on, is listening to the director. And the director says, okay, bank away. I don't hear that. And we're now 500 feet in the air, and the helicopter banks sideways. I have nothing on.
Yeah.
I have no seatbelt on. I literally had to hang on to the seat in front of me.
Holy
for the
smokes.
first take. That was one of the most afraid I've ever been during a stunt. I don't know how close I was to falling out, but it scared the heck out of me. We did probably 3 or 4 more takes, and then I realized, hang on to something once you get in the helicopter, and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But so that was like maybe my third day, or second day of work. So, for whatever reason, Caliente trusted me to do something like this, or at least they figured he's disposable if he
You're the
falls
only
and
one
dies. And I happen to look. The other good thing is, and I was talking to Danny Kim about it, who's been a stuntman in town for maybe a dozen plus years and has worked all the big movies. And he was there that first day and really took me under his wing. And after, I don't know, a few months working, I said, it was really nice of you. I know you guys all are like, everyone's hustling for days, and I heard it wasn't that nice. He goes, yeah, but you're a white guy. You're not going to take my part. So there are a bunch of these great Asian stuntmen on Hawaii Five-0. I get any middle-aged white guy part.
Yeah.
That I have double actors that I look very little. Eric Roberts was one. Eric Roberts, Julia Roberts' brother. He was in the Kickboxer movie. Forget the name of it. Really famous back in the Kickboxer days. Eric Roberts. So he's a guest star, and I'm doubling him. And I ended up being a pretty decent double. But this is when you talk about my age. And this was maybe 2 seasons ago, I think. And I have no ACL in one knee, and I'm pretty beat up. My kids laugh. I try and go out and play with my dog and run, and my kids just laugh like crazy when they watch me run, because it's not pretty. But I hide as much of that as I can on set around the young guys. So we're with Eric Roberts, and Eric Roberts is a little older than me. He was probably almost 60 at the time. In good shape, but definitely had a hard life. And the stunt corner says, okay, you're going to be playing Eric Roberts. You're going to have to run around this corner, and you're going to go in and out of these trash cans, and then you're going to get tackled over here. But I'd like you to run kind of like you're old, if you could. It's like, yes, sir. And I ran 100% as fast as I could, and got fantastic direction after that. So that's another.
Wow, it's as if this is really you.
Right,
so authentic.
Fantastic.
TJay, the best work ever.
You're still limping. Yeah, I'm a method actor. I want to stay in this.
So have you ever been seriously hurt on any of these stunts?
No, I get bumps and bruises. Again, no.
Wow.
I think I've been knocked out once, but I came to pretty quick.
Yeah.
Just kind of kept on going. I did a ratchet with 3 other guys, and a ratchet is when you have on a jerk vest. It's a really tight vest you'll put on and put clothes on over it, and they'll hook a wire to you, and they can either do a hand pull or hydraulic, and they did a hydraulic. We were an episode where 4 SWAT guys went up to a house and it blew up and they got blown back.
Yeah.
So we did a big green screen thing, and they put us. It was my very first ratchet, and you're taught quickly taught how to do it. Like, lean into it, try not. The good thing is you basically have to do nothing. They said just don't go with it.
Yeah,
like, just try not to get hit. So that's fine. So we set up all these pads that you're going to land in, and everyone sets up. And we're on the streets down in Kaka'ako, and past the pads, probably 8 feet, is the sidewalk, and there's the parking meters are there. So right before they go there, put a pad up by that parking meter just in case, you be safe. And we get ratcheted, and I'm leading into it, and it's my very first one, and the whole ratchet lasted a half a second maybe, or 3/4 of a second from the time you get hit to the time we landed.
Yeah.
And my thought immediately was, in that 3/4 of a second, wow, this is a lot faster than I thought it was.
Uh-huh.
And why haven't I hit the pads yet? Well, the hydraulic guy set his hydraulic meter too high and blew us through the pads, through the cameraman, and I hit my head directly. I had a helmet on, SWAT helmet, directly through the 8-inch pad into the parking meter.
Dang.
That kind of knocked me out.
Yeah.
Really quick. Someone was there reaching up, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I just whoa! And I get up and I get this big smile on my face. I look around, and I didn't know how bad it went.
Yeah.
That 2 guys ended up with head injuries in the hospital. Brock was one of them, and an LA guy. And they're like on the ground bleeding. There are $250,000 cameras that had got knocked off, and people are like trying to take care of those things. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll calm down over here. So stuff can go bad.
Did the hydraulics guy keep his job, is my question.
He's one of the best in the business, so I'm not sure.
Mistake.
Yeah.
Wow.
Things happen. So 90% of the time, I'm way, way overpaid. I make a lot of money for falling down on the grass or something like that. The 10% of the time, I'm way, way underpaid. I mean, I already know people that have been killed on the job. So I mean, it's a very, you need to trust the people around you. It's the first experience I've ever had, and I would equate it. I would bet, and I don't want to overstate what I do by any means, but a kind of a military combat type of thing, that you're trusting other people with your life. Mm-hmm. So I've got a really simple, quote unquote, simple stunt in downtown, like Chinatown, and we're just pedestrians on a sidewalk, and a car comes up, and we have to almost get run over by the car. Uh-huh. I'm walking away from the car so I can't see it. Danny Kim is walking toward me, and he's got to cue me when to turn around and jump away.
Wow.
So I'm literally trusting my life in a guy to cue me at the right time. So those are the type of things, the bonds that you have, the people that I work with, you can tell. But I mean, I'm really excited about my job. I mean, it's the most fulfilling job I've ever had in my entire life. I couldn't imagine ever doing anything else now. Like when it was kind of getting started and I was getting some work, wasn't making enough money to make a living, got an offer to work for another fight company.
Wow.
And I talked to my boss at the time, and he's like, well, what are you going to do? I said, you know what? I'm going to ride it till the wheels fall off, man. This is my dream. I'm living a teenage dream at 50 years old now. So now we have a new stunt coordinator that finished this season that I've worked for already. Chuck Norris's son, actually. Oh. Eric Norris is the coordinator. I worked for him. But you don't know, I worked so much for Jeff Cadiente. Now you kind of wonder, well, how much work will I get? I got to go off to a good start. I got to know him. But, I'm a stunt man till the end.
Well, when do you anticipate the end being? I mean, do you think you're going to just do this till senior citizen kind of thing?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tough enough, and my body has held up well enough that I think I can do it at least I can do the hard falls another 10 years till I'm 60. That's the way I look at it. Driving is where I can drive for a long time, and I'm starting to get little bits of driving, and you really have to earn your way up there, and you're risking everyone's lives when you got to slide a car in front of a camera or in front of people. So that's going to take me a while to build up a resume to be able to do some of the bigger car gags and rollovers and things like that. But that's my goal, is to do something like that.
Well, I anticipate Hawaii Five-0 is eventually going to run its course.
Never. But I need 10 more seasons. If I get 10 more seasons, we're good. That's all I'm asking for.
Hopefully you get that. But let's say that it does eventually end. I mean, do you anticipate you seeing enough work being here in Hawaii, or
I'll probably have to travel. I think I'll live here. My family's here, and there's a lot of work in Atlanta. With connections I made now, like my boss that isn't with 5-0 anymore, he's going to end up somewhere, and I know he trusts me to not screw up. Yeah. So wherever he ends up, I could get work there. And there are a number of local guys that have moved to Atlanta to get work. I can't move there because of family. Right. But right now, I get enough work here. The movies that come through, like Jurassic's coming up. I'll get some days on Jurassic again, hopefully. I was in the last Jurassic World.
Oh, okay.
Kong, of course. I got the line in Kong. So there's always stuff coming through here.
That I just saw is the coolest thing ever. If you're listening, you didn't see Kong yet. Describe the scene that you have. I mean, you're in the helicopter.
So you'll see it's what ended up on the film, and again, there's a longer scene I'd actually like to talk about, but it's the big helicopter scene when we first meet Kong. You basically meet him through my eyes, and he throws a palm tree through my chopper, and I get to yell, "Incoming!" Yeah. And you'll see my face just fill up the screen before I crash. But it's funny that anyone that's seen the movie, or if you see the movie, you see my chopper go down, and then later on you'll see someone get stepped on outside a chopper by Kong, and that's me also. I actually lived through that crash. So this is must be a year ago now, maybe even a little more when it was shot. But King Kong comes out here, and it's a lot of work for a lot of guys, and there are guys having to ride in the back of the choppers, the big Hueys. There's probably a dozen Hueys that they're using, and they're hiring guys just to dress up in military gear and sit in the back of them. I mean, it's a dangerous gig because choppers are more people die in choppers than anything. But I've got friends that are now working weeks at a time, maxing out, making $40,000 for the movie, and I haven't gotten the call yet. Come on, like good for you guys. I'm happy for you. Like, you try and keep a positive attitude. Like, I'm glad you're working. I'm waiting for the phone to ring. So I get a call at 8 in the morning. It would have been in November because it was right after Halloween, and there was the person working with the stunt coordinator said, "Hey, can you act?" Yeah, I can act. I've been acting my whole life. It's done anything real my whole life. So they need someone to do a stunt acting part. So they go over this scene and say, you see King Kong throw something through. I need audition tape by 11 o'clock. In 3 hours, the director, John Voight Roberts, is going to come in and pick somebody, and we're at whoever can get in videos. So I go out to my beat up minivan in the driveway and take my oldest daughter, Rainey Jade, that wants to be an actress, my Special Olympics champion, and we get the makeup out from Halloween, and I bloody up my face and dirty up, and we run through the scene, and I send it in, and about 4 o'clock they call and say, "You have the part. You need to be here tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock." So I think really cool. I don't know what it's exactly going to be. So now this is a $200 million project, Kong Skull Island, and I have to go out to the North Shore where we're shooting, and I show up on set, and luckily I've been around enough that I'm comfortable on sets and stuff. Yeah. I show up on set, and it's bigger than any set I've been part of because it's this gigantic movie, and for the next 2 days, I'm the only talent. So everyone's there for me. Wow. So the scene is that I'm in this chopper that had been shot down, and we shoot that ahead first. So there's extras that have to act dead, and then the caterer, everyone's there for me. If I had known like a week in advance, I would have been scared to death. Right. But like I show up and we got to do this. So my very favorite Hollywood story is the scene is that we're shooting now is I've already crashed. And what you see in the movie is the chopper goes down, and this would have been after that, is that I'm unconscious, everybody around me is dead, and I come to, and I don't really know where I'm at, and I look off to the left, and I see Kong. And I need to react to that. And then kind of freak out and I can't get out. I'm too injured, and I can't get my seatbelt is stuck. And you hear choppers coming, your friends are coming to save you, and guys come in, and later on in the day, fast line down, carry me out, and as I get out of the chopper, get stomped on.
Oh.
So my scene is probably, they set it up that it's probably 20 or 25 seconds of this reaction of acting without words, which I really think is harder than acting with words. Like I have to,
for sure.
I have to portray this feeling of unconsciousness and coming to and all this. And so John Voight Roberts, the director, goes in his tent, and he comes out, and he's yelling and doing all his thing. I need you to do this and more of this. And so I don't know, we've done 25 takes of this thing. And says this time look this way, and I've got this camera shooting from this angle this time, and we do all this thing. And I finish a 30-second take, and he comes out and he goes, I believed your fear that time. It was really, really good. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
He goes, all right, this time I want that exact same thing, but I need you to give me a little bit of hope. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? Like, this is just stupid. It's stupid. I mean, he's like, he might as well have been wearing like a French beret or something and had a cigarette in his mouth. So I promise you that we did another take with everything, reset the cameras, do the whole thing, and I did the exact same thing I did the take before. And he comes out of the tent, yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's the one I wanted. That's my favorite, like Hollywood schmollywood crap story. So,
Well, I mean, you've been doing it for a while now. Do you still get impressed or star-eyed?
I've never been that much with anyone. My one of the few people I ever took a picture with was and I can't remember his name, but Ferris Bueller's friend that his dad had the Jaguar.
See, Jamie probably knows because I actually never saw that movie. I'm notorious for not seeing any.
Oh my God!
Like iconic.
We can do a whole. That's just ridiculous. Yeah. We're watching it when we're done with this. Ferris Bueller Days Off.
I get the same reaction from everybody.
So Ferris Bueller's friend, they stole his father's Jaguar. He worked with us, and I was so excited. I took a picture with him, and then Henry Rollins from Black Flag.
Yeah, I remember seeing you post
I doubled
that.
Henry Rollins, and
Cool.
that was pretty awesome. I got to sit and talk with him for 20 minutes. So in general, what I've been taught, and I think it's really the right way to do, is we don't interact much with the stars and the guest stars. It's just let them, they're working. They're working on their craft, and they have their own way if they want to. There are some people that love the stuntmen. Mm-hmm. There are some actors that want to hang and have lunch with us and talk story, and other ones that the way they work is just different.
Yeah.
So it's
any experiences where you worked with somebody where you just like, man, and you don't have to name names,
absolutely.
So you've had those.
Few and far between.
Oh, that's good to know.
Few and far between, but there are some dopes out there. And everyone is kind of looking, you know what I mean? Like as soon as you're behind their line of sight, you'll see people rolling their eyes like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But for the most part, 5-0 crew, directors, cast are like spectacular. Grace Park, DDK, they're just so giving. This was also the first season. Maybe in the second gig I worked, I played a kidnapper that kidnapped Grace Park.
Oh, okay.
Kono Kalakawa. So I worked like 3 days with her, and we were in the back of a paddy wagon where guys had to fall out, and we had finished shooting, and I forget who asked for a picture, but she wanted a picture too of all of us together. We took the picture, and she goes, hey, can you text that to me? And I said, sure, and I was going to hand her my phone. She goes, no, 310, and I'm like, okay. If you get a call at 2 a.m. with someone breathing really heavy, it's not me. I promise. But very open like that. Alex O'Loughlin is a big star and is treated like a big star on set and needs space to kind of do it. I mean, he's accosted by people all over the place.
Right.
He likes mixed martial arts. We kind of know he's friends with Egan, so we kind of know each other.
He trains a little bit, right?
But when he's on set, he'll usually like nod his head or something like we say hello. but I've had my daughters on set 3 times, and anytime I show up on set with anyone, he will come from as far away as he is and make a point of coming over and talking to me because he understands that looks cool, and then we'll interact with the kids. Yeah, I mean, he's a really, really good guy. And generally, that's how all of the talent is on 5-0. It's been great. Yeah.
See, I've had the fortune of doing one episode, a very small part.
I worked it with you,
and I got to see that, like at catering. Yeah. I mean, you guys, it's like it really is like a family, and I mean, just you can see it, the energy there. I mean, I've been a part of some other crews and projects, and it's very, cold. There, it just seemed like
I'm so unbelievably lucky. We've got season 8 coming up for sure. It sounds like we may even get 9 and 10. All the actors may not come back, but I think CBS makes so much money off of this show because it airs so many places that we have a shot at getting a couple more seasons. And if we do, it's good for my family for sure.
Yeah. Well, I hope it continues just because it's great to, you have a sense of pride when you're here in Hawaii, knowing that the product made here is being enjoyed all over the world and such. But we could probably go on for hours about your experiences here in Hollywood. But I think what a lot of us are excited to hear about is, I mean, I grew up a fan of fighting and entertainment, and I never thought I'd be involved in the mixed martial arts world in the way I was. And part of the coolest experience was being involved with you, getting to be friends with you, but kind of getting to see the inner workings of the sport that really just evolved right before our eyes.
That we kind of helped create, for sure, all of us. I tell stories all the time now, and I get so much credit for starting MMA in Hawaii, for why don't you come back and do the big shows again? The reality is that I had a very small amount to do. We happened to be in the right place at the right time. I had a limited skill set that worked to be a promoter. I would talk about promoting is bending the truth. You know what I mean? Like as a promoter, you need to bend the truth, but there's no one stopping you from lying. So I felt like I was really good at always bending the truth and not lying. Whereas for the most part, people getting into the business and promoting, and if you're anyone promoting anything, my suggestion would be your job is to bend the truth. Don't do any more than that. So I think some of that helped me. I would say that. But for the most part, I had some great fighters, some great people selling clothing around it, the whole thing that created the atmosphere. We were all so lucky to be part of those days from 1998 to 2007, something like that. There were events at the Blaisdell, both mine and Rumble on the Rock, that would just blow your mind with the energy. And I've been to the biggest UFC fights there are. Nowadays, I'll go to at least 1 or 2 a year, and they're bigger, and they're louder, and they're way more expensive. But there was an energy in the Blaisdell Arena during that era that will never be replicated anywhere in the world, I don't think.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I still I get goosebumps right now. Because I feel like I can transport myself back to that time. I know exactly which seat I was at and the angle that I saw. And the one that I always remember most is when Nico had that upset victory
over Suda.
Masanori Suda. I've never yelled so loud in my life, and I think I almost probably jumped over a couple of rows in front of me because we were just jumping up and down.
It was just an unbelievable thing. Some of the mayhem entrances. I mean, that was so far ahead of its time. Yeah. He was so far ahead of his time, and too far ahead for his own good, apparently, in the end. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, those Nico beating Suda is a great one that a lot of people may not remember. Flying Superman punch that Suda was at that point looked sort of unbeatable. Had been the guy that knocked off Egan Inoue.
Yeah, because Egan was our hero. And he could do no wrong.
Right.
And then to see Suda upset him, or it wasn't an upset. We were like,
well, it's interesting. Those were the days, and these days are long gone. When they talk about promoting, people didn't know who any fighters were. So Egan Inoue was a great world-class fighter. That there were probably 60 other fighters in the world that were clearly better than him. But in Hawaii, no one knew that. Because you didn't. It was the Dennis Alexio used to bring in bums and call them undefeated. Well, there was one of the last guys Alexio fought was 34-3 or something like that. Well, he had fought one pro fight. He was an amateur fighter. And he was like 0-1 as a pro.
Yeah.
And brought him in. But back then it didn't matter. And I took a page out of that book. And every person that I had fight Egan was the most dangerous guy in the world.
Yeah.
And if I put a 30-second TV commercial out there, a great poster, the internet there was no internet. You know what I mean? So people weren't able to find that much about people, and we were able to create the kind of mystique. Now, I will tell you, Egan was a world-class fighter that if there were 60 fighters that were better than him on any given day, maybe he would have won that fight.
Right.
But if you were to look at it honestly, there were better fighters in the world at the time. But he was definitely that upper echelon. But we were able to bring in the European champion to fight him. There was a guy that happened to be from Holland, Martin de Jong, who I'm still friends with today.
Oh, no way.
On social media, yeah. He only could see only one eye during that fight. Yeah, he had a really bad eye injury. Wow. And he got head kicked on that side. If you remember, he got knocked out with a head kick by Egan. But he showed up he never should have been cleared to fight.
Yeah,
back then,
nowadays you wouldn't.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a chance. But back then, if you could,
This is kind of like the Wild
reach
West.
up and sign the contract, you're in.
If you can see the contract, you can see it. You know what sold it for me? Because I kind of got in right around, I don't know, maybe about 2000, 2001, was the big feud between Egan and Marcelo Tiger.
Yeah,
and
it was real.
It just was like, seemed like this blood feud that these two guys had.
Well, it went back to Egan and Helson Gracie had a falling out. So Egan left Helson Gracie. No one else was teaching jiu-jitsu in Hawaii at the time in 95, 96, something like that. And Egan got his blue belt from Helson. I think he won the Worlds as a blue belt and then decided to start his own academy.
As a blue belt?
As a blue belt.
Wow.
That's when Grappling Unlimited was started with Egan as a blue belt.
No way.
Which today just sounds so unbelievably ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine, Egan wasn't the average blue belt by any means, I'm sure.
Right.
I don't want to run up against him as a blue belt by any means. But that was, at that point, there was a blood feud between the Gracies and the Inoues. And Ensign never did anything wrong, but took his brother's side and left Helson to because his brother left him. And there were rocks thrown through Helson Gracie's window that no one knows, a big boulder thrown through him. There was crazy stuff. There was a big fight at the Pan Ams, a brawl that broke out that Ensign and Egan got into it with Helson, and fists were thrown, and it got kind of crazy. So then when Marcelo Tiger came, I don't remember how I found him, but he came and he was just going to he had nothing to do with Helson. Yeah. But Helson saw the opportunity and just jumped on it. So it became this Helson feud. And Marcelo Tiger was a legit psychopath. Oh, yeah. Nut job, willing to die, likely taking drugs, PCP, whatever, we don't know, before fights, would take punishment that no one's ever seen in their life. He would show me videos of him taking a cow in Brazil and slitting its throat and filling up a big liter with blood and drinking it, and it's all. And that's where I get. That's where I get my power from. That's TJay. My power comes from there. No one can beat me.
Yeah, he would come into the store and show us these crazy videos and try to get us to sell them. And I was like, I don't think anyone wants to see, but the guy was insane.
Yeah, he was absolutely insane. Yeah. That was the most attended MMA event in the history of the Blaisdell Arena, and will always be, because soon after that they reconfigured the arena, put in new chairs, and there were like 30 less seats. But we had sold out that night, and how it was configured will be the most ever sold. Now, Rumble on the Rock would sell out often at the time, but they did such a giant production and a giant cage that they didn't have the number of seats that we had.
They had the big entrances and all
of that. Yeah. So we just sold tickets to Egan's and had one little tiny entrance and sold the rest of the seats. That was a good night.
Well, let's go back to the very beginning. I mean, because you're not originally from here. You said you're from, is it Massachusetts?
From Massachusetts, yeah.
So how did you get to Hawaii in the first place?
Again, by mistake. I had been living in Southern California, and I was in my late 20s and literally had nothing going on in my life and didn't know what I wanted to do. And I had a very clear thought that I still think is a great thought people should use today. Like, well, then why don't I go do that in Hawaii?
Oh, yeah.
Do what? Well, nothing.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to do nothing and figure out what I'm going to do, I'm going to go do it in my favorite spot in the world. I had visited a bunch. I loved it. So that's I came over here and ended up working, doing some small promotions, running a female oil wrestling show at Gussie Lamore's was one of my businesses.
Wait, so okay, let's.
You're aware of that?
I didn't know it was female. I knew you had fights at Gussie Lamore's. I didn't know it was female oil wrestling.
So I had a 4 nights a week would run female. I was the MC for female oil wrestling.
I remember seeing flyers.
Wait, so was it pre-existing that they were doing, and you just jumped on, or you created this?
It was a company that I was part of before, because I had actually worked on. There was a male side of the company that I toured with. I was a male dancer for
okay, I know that
almost
part.
10 years for Chippendales, and so that.
And there's some photos too. Nobody rocked that Fabio look.
I tried. It was. I had long hair. And I have no shame in it whatsoever. It was a heck of 8 years. Imagine being in your early 20s and just touring the country and the world. Those we won't tell at all. I always tell that story that I have stories that I can't tell because no one would believe them if I told them. So. We'll just leave them.
We'll leave those buried.
Some skeletons we'll keep in the closet.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have a sister company that tours female oil wrestling, and they ended up with a show in Hawaii. And when I was on breaks, I would come over and MC it for a week or 2 weeks at a time or a month. Well, I'm 26 years old, and the boss of my company says, "Hey, do you want to take a month and go to Hawaii and MC the oil wrestling show? You're going to have to live in the apartment, the 2-bedroom apartment with the 4 oil wrestlers." I mean, some more stories to be told.
Yeah.
So I'm 26 years old, 28 years old, spending time in Hawaii. So now I come over, and that's how I can move here is I at least have this. I think it's $75 a night I make 4 nights a week. Wow. And now at that point, this is 1995, I had seen the UFC. Everyone had seen it on a VHS. No one had really seen it live. Rarely had anyone seen it closed circuit or whatever.
Yeah.
But the owner and I were talking. He said, this might work here. Would you be interested in helping put on? So they literally built a ring out of metal and plywood, and that's all, and a piece of canvas over the plywood. And I put an ad in the paper, and this would have been 95, so no internet, no.
Yeah.
You could, at that point, buy a voicemail number that goes direct to voicemail.
Huh.
So it wasn't a real number, but that's where you'd put the ad in the paper in the 2 newspapers at the time. And the next day, I check the voicemail. I go into go into my boss at the time, Dennis Smith, who owned the bar. And he says, "Hey, how's the ad going?" I go, "Unbelievable. We've got 80 phone calls."
Wow.
Of guys that want to fight. Now, I've lived in Hawaii for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I tell him next, I say, "But I think someone's screwing with us." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "I think half the calls have chickens in the background. I think it's the same person." So obviously, Waipahu, and I were like, so she liked that one. I was sure of it. I said, and he laughed like heck. Like, no, they're probably real.
They're probably from Jamie's neighborhood, a couple of them.
My uncle.
Yeah. So we end up, I think, I hold a initial rules briefing, and 16 guys show up. And I say, well, whoever shows up next Tuesday night, or it may have been Friday night then, 8 guys show up. So we do an 8-man tournament. Kavika Pa'alui ends up winning the very first tournament.
Wow,
we do 2 tournaments, no holds barred, no time limits, no gloves, no, the whole thing.
Gee.
No doctors, no medical personnel, a referee that's the bouncer at the club. I mean, it was really, really dangerous.
And what was on the line? What were they trying to win?
$1,000 if you won 3 fights, $500 if you were runner-up, $100 if you won your first fight, and nothing if you lost your first fight.
Wow.
That, I'll show you how nice I am as a promoter. We had done 2 or 3 of these, and this one guy came in military fatigues, and he got head stomped so badly. Oof. He was unconscious for probably a total of 5 minutes unconscious.
Wow.
But the owner of the bar would freak out about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So get him off, drag him out back.
Oh, no.
So they drag this guy out back, let him come to, whatever the case was. The whole fight goes on. And later on that night, I saw him sitting in the corner by himself, his head, hematoma, like sticking out here and eye closed, and he had a Budweiser in front of him. He was drinking a ice cold beer. And I thought to myself, that poor son of a gun had to buy his own beer after all of that.
Yeah.
So that night, I changed the contract to that if you lost your first fight, you got a beer. So you had a contract that you would get a beer if you fought, $100 if you won, $500 if you win your next fight. And
Gee, you have a heart of gold.
that's right. Come on, man.
There's a special place in heaven for you, man.
Absolutely. I'm sure there is.
How about how many of these type of no holds barred type of events did you put on at Gussie?
At the bar, we had started, as soon as that one, it was sold out. First event was sold out, standing room only. Again, the Dennis Smith, God bless him. I think he's back in Alaska now. The laws, everything, like OSHA stuff. The place was packed, just packed. You could come in, and it was one of those places that if you could reach the bar, they'd serve you a drink. Like, if you had money, you were okay to be in there. But we did one every month. And again, remember, my story is that I was basically a broke knucklehead. But I saw something here, and I wanted to do something bigger. Like I saw the future of it. And I had a moment of clarity where I looked in the front row, and this was probably the fourth show we have done every month, and the same guy had been in the front row, this 6'8" Norwegian Viking-looking guy, Ode Haugen, who I had known in passing, but had just sold his 4 Goals gyms to 24 Hour Fitness and stayed on as a consultant. So I knew he was successful. And I saw him screaming, a giant strongman competitor. Yeah. And I went up to him and I said, hey, I have this idea of going to the Blaisdell and doing something bigger. And he said, let's do it. So we got together and he financed it. I'll give you the short version of it. I love this story. We did the first event. I don't know, 3,000 people came. It's my first time promoting an event that size, and we lost $30,000.
Wow.
Fantastic show. Fantastic show. I felt horrible. I didn't invest any money into it, so I didn't lose anything, but he lost. I figured we're done. He said, let's do this. He had so much fun. He brought all the 24 Hour Fitness sponsored Mark Mastroff, who owned it. The next event we did, Vitor Belfort was headlining before anyone knew who he was. And we lost almost $20,000, I think.
That's crazy, because if you think nowadays, if you could get 3,000 in the Blaisdell for a fight, that's a pretty good day.
Yeah, and you can't. Yeah. Right. So, but we were putting on bigger shows, and I wasn't good at it. I didn't really know how to cut costs. Third event we did was Frank Shamrock versus John Lober. Lost $10,000. So we're now $65,000, $70,000 in the hole.
Wow.
And I literally went to Ode and begged him to quit financing it. This is stupid. He's a much smarter businessman than I was. He saw the way the losses were going.
Right.
They were getting less every time.
Yeah.
At that point, the government came in to try and shut us down. I went and did a show in Guam. I think made $5,000, and then made money on 48 straight shows after that.
Wow.
So this is a guy, Ode Haugen, who I owe so much to, even as much as the sort of honesty, and I would be pushing the boundaries, be like, you can't say that. You can't. Okay, I won't say that. You're bigger than me. Not a big deal. So, but through the years, he moved away to L.A., and I ran the company, and the company at the end of the year would never make any money, quote unquote. I was living a heck of a life. The company was spending a lot of money, and my life was spectacular, and he never asked for anything. And I would fly him in to a fight if he wanted, and he saw something in me, and I paid him back everything that he was owed, and maybe another $5,000 check somewhere. But I was making really good money, and he basically allowed it. Wow. When I got bought out by the public company, we did get a hefty check of cash that I got to write him a check for a large, mid 6-figure number, which was a really fun thing to do. Yeah. To get him paid for kind of his belief in me the whole time.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
And your original boss at Gussie L'Amour's Dennis Smith?
Yes.
He didn't want to be involved, or?
No, he knew what he was good at, and he did what he was good at, and that was running bars. They kept doing that show, I believe. After I left, they tried to keep doing it. It didn't succeed.
So did you ever worry that because it was so, kind of like Wild West over there, were you ever worried when promoting those shows, like something really bad could happen? Or?
Yeah, I mean, at some level, but you can't get blood from a stone. What are they going to, they're going to sue the bar. They're going to sue me. What are you going to get? What are you going to get from me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wasn't that worried. Now, interestingly enough, we do Future Brawl 1 at the bar, sold out. Future Brawl 2 at the bar, sold out. Kaviga Pa'alui wins both of them. He knows jiu-jitsu. He was knocking guys out, too, because he hit so hard, but he was using submission holds. The owner, at the time of the bar, after the second one, said, this thing, we've got a gold mine here. This is fantastic. I love everything about it except for this submission thing. It's boring. So the next 4 or 5 events was everything goes except for submissions.
Oh, my gosh.
You literally had to pound the crap out of people.
Because there's no time limits or anything.
No time limits, anything. Nope. Woo. And if you're on the ground for more than 10 or 15 seconds, would stand you up and scrap some more. Yeah, no, there was, and again, no gloves, no nothing. These guys were nuts. So, but interestingly enough, and again, there was 3 big events later. A representative from Maui wrote a bill that got passed outlawing ultimate fighting and extreme fighting. Still on the books, by the way. Ultimate fighting and extreme fighting are banned in Hawaii.
Huh.
Obviously, they're not going to enforce it if the UFC comes. But the law clearly was intended to stop me from doing what I was doing. We were called the SuperBrawl Hawaii Extreme Fighting Championship. So they put ultimate fighting, extreme fighting. But then the very next sentence, Rosalind Baker was the woman's name. She's still, I think, in politics. She wrote the bill. The very next sentence said this bill will not affect boxing, kickboxing, professional wrestling, or a legitimate martial arts contest. At that time, I'm working with Matt Hume from AMC Pancration up in Seattle.
Yep.
And we go to an attorney, we talk, and we start running a Pancration event, which is an ancient martial art from the early Olympics in Greece.
Right.
And we had police. The next event we ran, police showed up saying they're going to shut us down. And we had an attorney that said, you can, but you're going to be in a lot of trouble because we're running a martial arts contest like you said we're allowed to do.
Yeah.
Ran it. They didn't shut us down. Successful. Again, we were making money at the time. And by the time they got around to talk about writing a new law or amending that law, the popularity grew so quickly that politicians realized, I can't be the guy that shuts this down. So it wasn't long after that, maybe a couple of years, that we actually had a letter from Linda Lingle. After there was the 9/11, after 9/11, we had a support for the military troops night. Linda Lingle wrote us a letter that we had in our program thanking us for putting on this event. And so.
But it definitely took a lot of morphing and things. What did you see?
I testified before House and Senate committees, both here and in Nevada. I felt like I was a really good advocate because I got involved, as I said, kind of by mistake, thinking these crazy guys are trying to kill each other. This is awesome. Yeah. I realized soon after, maybe not too soon after, but I started realizing how beautiful it was and what a great sport it was and what the art of it in martial arts. Now, the people trying to ban it were saying to themselves, look at this crazy thing. These people are trying to kill each other. Let's ban it. I at least saw why they thought that. So everyone was up in arms like, they don't understand us. Why would they understand us? Yeah. Look at it. You know, I would argue for an hour about the safety of mixed martial arts being safer than high school football, safer than boxing, all this stuff. But then I'd create a 30-second TV commercial that looked like the end of the world was coming. You know what I mean? So I understood when I went in to talk to a politician, I think I went in understanding what they were looking at and being able to explain to them that I saw the same thing. I liked it, but I get what you're seeing, but it's not what's happening. What you're seeing isn't what's happening. If you watch closely and you watch these guys training, it's basically the jiu-jitsu was kind of what made it safe at some point, the grappling part.
How concerned were you? Was there ever a point where you thought, there's no way this is going to continue. They're going to shut this thing down?
I didn't care. I don't concern myself with stuff like that. I figured maybe I would have done something else. You know what I mean? I loved what I was doing. But the safety part of one of my favorite safety story. And again, and it's a good lesson on how you treat people. sometime around the 4th event at Gussie Lamore's, the owner got smart, and there was some dead drunk doctor that used to hang out at the bar all the time and chase like Filipino young girls, that he would give him free drinks that night to say there was a doctor on duty at the just absolute nut job. But was a doctor, had an office. Yeah. Maybe he was a great doctor during the day and whatever the case was. But so I got friends with him. And then when I left to do SuperBrawl 1 at the Blaisdell, he starts calling me, can I come work it? And I just won't answer his phone call. Mm-hmm. Not talking, not a chance in heck. So John Parkinson, who was my production coordinator, had a friend that was a doctor at Straub, I think, that came and worked SuperBrawl 1. And sometime in the middle of the event got paged to an emergency and left and didn't tell anybody.
Wow.
That was the night that J.R. Palmer stomped Mauricio Cordy near to death.
Yeah.
So I'm at ringside, Steve English reffing, stomps this guy's head to like a horrible, it looks like he killed him. Uh-huh. And I look to my right for the doctor and he's not there. And I say, is he in there? He's not in the ring. He's gone. I have no doctor anywhere. We don't have an ambulance on board. I'm freaking out. Out of the 5th row comes the drunk doctor from Gussie Lamore's, who had bought a freaking ticket.
Wow.
And comes in the ring and saves my And it was a really good lesson to me of how you treat people no matter what, especially on the way out.
Yeah.
Like, how do you want to treat someone on the way out? So he came out and brought the guy back to consciousness and got out of the ring.
Fantastic.
Oh my God, I felt like this big, like tiny.
So did you give him like tickets for life after that kind of thing?
I don't think I did.
That's the last you heard of it?
I think I thanked him.
The white knight, and then he's off into the sunset.
He was like, screw you.
Hope you feel better about yourself
right?
now.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I know you got to get out of here, and you've been so generous with your time, but I feel like we just only started. So I would love to have you come back and do part 2, probably part 3. And so would you be willing to come back?
Time, of course.
Oh, man, that'd be so
Love
awesome.
it, man. Love it.
See, the cool part about this is, like, I got to live a lot of it, but for someone like Jamie, who's fairly new,
I'm watching her face.
Oh man, yeah. Like I try to tell her these stories, but it does no justice. Like until we hear, and there's stuff you've been telling me all this whole time.
It's a win-win for me. I get to see you, I get to hang out, and I get to talk about myself.
Not in that particular order of importance, right?
Exactly.
But oh man,
Jamie, thank you. You were fantastic.
Okay. You got her all choked up. And so let's.
I'll be back anytime.
All right, our big thank you again going out to TJay Thompson for hanging out with us here on the Hanging Out with Nolan Hong podcast. And I forgot to mention a big thank you to our friend Chevis, who made the music for our podcast. Originally, it was used for our now defunct YouTube show, Say What? But we thought it's such a great song and it's so appropriate. So we repurposed it for our podcast. And thank you so much, Chevis, for providing your talents and your musical gifts for our show. And also, thank you to our sponsor, Jimmy Nakamura and Monster Energy Drink, for being a sponsor of the show. They dropped off some of this new Monster drink. It's called Monster Hydro. So it's kind of like, the way I would describe it is, it's like one of those vitamin waters. It's like a flavored water, but with Monster Energy in it. And it's pretty good. I actually like it a lot. And it's weird for me to describe it, but it doesn't taste like an energy drink, which is why I like it. Is that weird to say? Because it doesn't have that usual like energy drink kind of taste to it, that aftertaste. It just tastes like flavored water, and it's sweet, refreshing. It's light. It's not overly sweet. They got 3 different flavors, and yet you still get that kind of like that little buzz and jolt from Monster. And I know my nutritionist, Dr. Elena, is going to be super upset that I'm drinking this, but hey, we got to pay our bills, so we got to thank our sponsors, and I got to be authentic. I got to try it. So if I'm telling you to go get this, you know I actually tried it. So I've tried it, and it is delicious. So thank you, Jimmy, and thank you, Monster, for being a sponsor of our show. And thank you for listening to another edition of Hanging Out with Nolan Hong. We'll see you on the next episode right here. And for the crew here, myself, I'm Nolan Hong, and stay off my lawn.